Hey everyone, my name is College Sports Revive and I welcome you back to the College Hoops 2K Legacy Mode series featuring the legendary Coach Carter and Fordham Rams basketball. Episode 67 begins with your Rams having a target on their back as they enter today ranked number 2 in the entire nation, winners of their first 15 games of the final season of this series. Fordham's been a little beat up. Kai Hendrick, Tariq Porter, and Timo Cruz have all missed some games, and we weren't really beating anyone convincingly up until last episode. The Rams knocked Villanova out of the top 25 with a huge win at home where the coach's kid, Damian Carter, poured in a career-high 21 and tossed 5 assists in his best game of his career. Hendry returned to the lineup to score double digits as well, and despite the second half comeback by the Wildcats, Fordham got a stop on the final possession to keep the undefeated season alive. And then, out on the West Coast in a title game rematch against the Stanford Cardinal, Fordham blew the brakes off of Stanford, and with the help of the seldomly used 2-3 zone by Coach Carter, the Rams forced the Cardinal to shoot 4 for 23 from deep, while living on the fast break themselves all game long. And Pat Park, who's been under expectations this season, turned in his best performance of his junior campaign. The Rams would reign victorious in the last 4 games in the non-con and simulation, including wins over Georgetown and Hofstra, entering today as a top 2 team. The A-10 seems a little bit more top-heavy than it has in years past. It seems like there's the top 3 teams and everyone else, and that'd be us, UMass, and Charlotte. But another team joins that trio in the top. It's the Richmond Spiders, who have not made much noise in this legacy mode. They're sandwiched right at the top with the favorites, and we'll be seeing the Spiders to open today's episode. We've got 5 games to prep for a road game against Charlotte, who might have their best roster of the series this season, which says a lot because they've done a lot of winning in Coach Carter's time. But you can't look past this Richmond game to open up A-10 play. This is a solid roster, but the 12-1 record might be a tad misleading. Their non-conference schedule was a little underwhelming, to be nice about it. They haven't played a power team yet, and I mean, come on. Look at, you got Buffalo, Youngstown State, Binghamton twice. This is not a very strong schedule, but I do give Jarius Joyner, their top scorer, a ton of credit. He's had a really good career as a 4-year starter here with Richmond, and he stuck it out through some really tough seasons to have a pretty promising team here as a senior, despite the easy schedule. They've added through JUCO transfers to help them out, with former JUCO ballers in Lonnie Wagner and Omar Swansea putting together some good seasons so far, and leading Richmond to their best season so far of their legacy mode. And we got to be prepared for this team. Our first A-10 game, and Richmond is going to come in motivated, trying to prove that they can hang with the top dogs in the conference. With the easy schedule, they might have heard the noise, and they're here to prove that the 12-1 record is not a placebo. But here we go with Damian Carter. A little bit of a slow day so far on offense in the opening minutes. And normally it's Carter assisting Hicks, but this time he returns the favor. Still off to a slow start of both teams, 4-4 here in the early goings as Hicks is double teamed, and the skip pass goes to number 12, the coach's kid, for 3. What a run he's had. He's up to being our 3rd leading scorer. That's Damian, and he's scored at least 12 points in 5 out of his last 6 games as Lonnie Wagner tries to answer back. No good. What a rebound by Lloyd Hicks, and a pass to boot. What an outlet find right there by Lloyd Hicks. And Carter's got 7 out of her first 9 points to help get us going. And he's got to stay on the floor. He's so hot right now. And we'll check in Melvin Brewer, who gets tagged right there for the pick and roll, letting that up. That's Andre Eptimov, the Richmond Spiders' second leading scorer. And then Pat Park, who looked like he got hacked there on that layup, does not get the call. So the Richmond Spiders playing a little bit physical here, not letting us walk all over them as Tariq Porter tries the mid-range. That's his best shooting attribute by far. It's in the 80s as a freshman, but he misses, and then Joyner tops off the break on the other end. So Richmond putting together a nice little run, and Fordham with not much offense to speak about. With no Damian Carter on the floor, who will it come from now as Jarius Joyner's fouled on the 3-point attempt by Timo Cruz. He knocks down the 3 and go to the line for a 4-point play opportunity. Timo Cruz just came back from injury, but probably won't win many points with Coach Carter with that play right there on defense. As the Richmond Spiders continue this onslaught here. I mean, when's the last time Fordham scored? They got to look for some offensive income from somebody, and it's going to be the 2 freshmen, Melvin Brewer and Tariq Porter. Nice pick and roll there as we welcome back Porter to the starting lineup in this game, as going back door that time. That is Raheem Klein, the backup guard for 2. And Richmond has doubled our score here. Damian Carter thought about it from 3. Kick out to Pat Park. Another open look, but it's well short. Lloyd Hicks will grab it for another chance at it. He's doubled in this zone. Pat Park extra fine, and it is Damian. Back of the rim and in. What a shot. NBA range there displayed by the coach's kid, and it's been awesome seeing him turn it up a notch on the offensive end this season, but Clifton Allen with the response. Pat Park undisciplined there, trying to go for the steal, and everything we throw at Richmond, they got an answer and then some for. They're coming to play tonight, up by 15 here in the first half, and it's kicked out. It is Lonnie Wagner, one of their many either freshman or JUCO transfers that have kind of revitalized this team a little bit. They have 6 of them total, as Damian looks like he's the only one that wants to play right now. Coast to coast before Wagner gets back and set up. A dozen for Damian Carter to make it 6 out of 7 games where he scored a dozen. Jointer from way downtown, he's got the range to hit that, but this one's off the front iron. Bennett Pincala checks out, and Damian Carter surveying the floor. We might have numbers here for a second, and we take advantage. Quick secondary break opportunity cashed in upon by Pat Park and Lloyd Hicks. Nice find there, going quick. Hicks only has 4 as Damian Carter grabs a steal. Man, this guy's playing his tail off here in the first half. And we have an opportunity to at least score one more time before the break. He's got the mismatch, but so does Lloyd Hicks. So we're trying to get him the ball. Whips it inside to number 32, and he lets it go off his hands. Would have had a layup. But Lloyd Hicks, wow, and then they almost make the half-court shot, but Lloyd Hicks can't cash in there, as he would have had an easy basket over the point guard Lonnie Wagner. 34-20, one of the worst offensive halves we've seen from Fordham in recent memory. 34% shooting, 2 of 5 from 3, no trips to the free throw line. Meanwhile, Richmond is spreading out their scoring. They have 5 players with at least 4 points, while Damian Carter's got 12 out of our 20. Just a really bad shooting day. Guys like Kai Hendry haven't scored yet, and the bench has not helped us out much either. And we'll begin the second half with a stop at least. Nice job by Lloyd Hicks grabbing rebound number 6. Got to get him more involved, and we got to see this guy finally make a shot. But Hendry misses a wide open mid-range as he falls to 0 for 6 shooting today. But at least Pat Park is there to clean up the mess and do the dirty work. And I mean, hey, Pat Park's only 2 for 6 himself, so our top 2 scorers at the wing position not really holding up there under the bargain, but this guy certainly is, getting the steal and a little baby jump shot on the break. Carter with 14, still perfect on his night. 11:30 to go. Fordham got to get a run here. They've trimmed it to 12. Skip pass. It's Wagner. He can shoot the tray, man. Lonnie Wagner, a 5'10 senior, JUCO transfer from Washington, D.C., like I said, one of the many new players that have come and really given this roster a breath of fresh air. But finally, we can get a stop. Lloyd Hicks with rebound number 8 as he checks out, gets the stop, and it's Melvin Brewer who drops it off to Pat Park. Speaking of providing a spark, this is what this kid has done all season long. Brewer averaging 9 points in 18 minutes a game. Very effective, obviously. He had that 22-point game against Texas in that win. He was a little bit more quiet last episode. We're working on trying to find the right rotation between him and Kai Hendry as Brewer pump fake. No, but he'll get the screen from Lloyd Hicks, hangs and finishes. No, it does rim out. But Brewer gets his own miss and puts it back in for a 3-point play opportunity. Man, this kid is fun to watch. I know I use the term gamer a lot on this channel, but this kid is a gamer. I mean, Melvin Brewer, just a motor that we haven't seen much in this series from anybody we've recruited right off the bat, and the impact you can feel from the freshman. Off the front iron there is Jerry Jointer from the free throw line, and guess what? Number 3 is looking to score more. Crossover inside, good defense, but on the weak side, nobody checked out our other highly coveted freshman. It is Tariq Porter, up and in on the layup, and Fordham's got it back under a 10-point game here with 7:20 left to play. Brewer, or rather Porter, drop step, pass inside to Lloyd Hicks. They've defended him well today. He's forced to give it up, and Brewer with the shot clock expiring, he's got to improvise, and he makes 2 more on a wild acrobatic finish. Melvin Brewer forces the Spiders into a timeout, and the run continues for the Fordham Rams. 49-42, down to a 7-point game. This is the closest it's been since the first half, and it's a steal by Tariq Porter. Melvin Brewer leading the break. Nick Jallo thinks about it, but Brewer will set things up. He's done a great job giving Damian Carter some rest here and playing some big minutes. Crossover on Eptomov, and he will finish with the scoop fillet with the left hand. This kid has single-handedly taken over this game. And the Richmond Spiders looking to quiet up this run, but Lonnie Wagner will do just that. Look at this move. He puts on Melvin Brewer, and Melvin Brewer having some welcome to college level moments, as last episode he got dunked on, and now he gets crossed over by Wagner, the savvy veteran who played a lot of ball over in JUCO, and we've had some trouble keeping him off the score sheet as well. Here he is again as Damian Carter checks in. Melvin Brewer, I wanted to keep him in, but his energy was low. Dish over to Clifton Alley in for three. The 6'6" junior from Clifton Heights, Michigan, Clifton from Clifton, making a three there. And with under 4 to play now, it's back to an 11-point game. Fordham, the clock, now becoming an enemy for them as it's Pat Park, short corner, inside, Lloyd Hicks, up fake, up and in, no! As Hicks smokes the gimme. And honestly, when he missed that, I kind of realized that today, it was just not our day. It was not in the cards for us to complete this comeback. But it doesn't mean we won't still try. And after a quick rest, we give Melvin Brewer some more run here at the end of the game as he picks up assist number 4, beating the press seamlessly. And Hicks does get up to double figures. And Bennett Pincalo almost got the 3-point play off the steal on the break. He makes 2 for 2. And it's still only a 10-point game. We've been hovering around the double-digit mark for most of the second half now. Richmond not lighting the world on fire here in the second half, but they're doing the things they need to do to keep us out of this game. And it's been a really impressive performance by the Spiders on the road against the number 2 team in the country. The undefeated season on the line here, up the mauve inside. It's Jointer who's blocked, but then it's tipped up and in. Damian Carter. The shot was already blocked by Pat Park, and then Damian comes in to try to provide some help, and he smacks it up and in. And just like the Lloyd Hicks missed layup earlier, this was another play that showed you that it just was not our night. And it was not meant to be. We do get it a little bit closer here. It's now only a 4-point deficit with 2 seconds left to go, though. It's just too little too late here as Fordham drops their first game of season number 6, and it's set in stone, and it sucks to see, especially to open up the A10 section of our schedule. But every team has those games where they don't really show up. That was us tonight, and it's better to have those in January rather than in March. And now we have 4 games to get back on track before Charlotte. Hopefully we get this loss out of the way as Damian Carter drops 21 again for the second straight game that we've actually sat in and played. Hendry 0 of 9 from the floor. And Bennett Pincala, or rather Lloyd Hicks didn't really get it going until late in the game. But how about Melvin Brewer? 13.6 assists in 15 minutes. Hendry's kind of battled some ups and downs this season. Obviously he was dealing with injury. But even before the injury, he really was not looking like himself. He was shooting a low percentage before he got hurt, and he's looked more the part since he's gotten back. But all in all, Hendry is just something to keep an eye on. With performances like this, 0 for 9 shooting in a pretty big conference game, maybe Melvin Brewer needs a spot start here. And like I said, 4 games to get back on track before Charlotte, who I believe are the biggest threats to the Rams this season. Kai Hendry really needed this game against St. Bonaventure to bounce back after his goose egg, and it's a 14-point win for Fordham and 16 points as Kai leads the Rams in their first conference win of the season. Definitely good to see him bounce back. And then Xavier's in a down year after seeing a huge senior class depart off their roster. And we see that firsthand, winning by almost 20 points, where we saw Melvin Brewer get the start in this one. He's been so impactful as a freshman. I decided to alternate starts between him and Hendry leading up to the Charlotte game just to feel things out, and he was decent as Pat Park and Lloyd Hicks starred. Hendry still played a ton with Damian getting into foul trouble against the Musketeers, scoring 11. We simmed to our next game against LaSalle, another softball, with the Rams control of this one from start to finish. A great defensive game, holding the Explorers to 53 points while tallying 11 steals. Game ball actually goes to Bennett Pincala, who grabbed 3 steals with 9 rebounds to boot as he set the tone in this one. And then a 103-59 demolition of Rhode Island. Pincala continues to stay hot, dropping a new career high of 20 in this one. Hendry seems to enjoy coming off the bench too, 24 points in 23 minutes. We were concerned with the Rams not solidly winning some of these games last episode and over the season, but now things are starting to click. The Rams fell to 5 after the Richmond loss, but with this new win streak, they're back up to 4 entering this top 10 matchup against the Charlotte 49ers on the road. And every season you get those handful of games that can define your season, and it's safe to say this is going to be one of those games. Fordham got knocked down, they picked themselves back up and traveled for the highest ranked regular season matchup of the entire series. And unlike Richmond, the 49ers have actually tested themselves in the non-con. They played 3 top 25 games to some mixed results. They dominated Syracuse on the road before dropping a game against top 3 Virginia Tech by 16. And then Houston also outplayed them in a 68-45 loss. And this game starts a brutal stretch where they got to play us, UMass, and St. Louis in a week's time. But looking at the schedule, I noticed some really low-scoring games, which prompted me to check out the defensive stats, where I saw Charlotte as a number 3 ranked scoring defense in the country. So we're going to be seeing the classic great offense versus great defense in this one. The 49ers play a rabid zone, and it works so well because they have so much height in their backcourt. They're so smart, and they anticipate everything. But I'm also kind of worried about us on defense as well. They shoot 43% from 3, which is why I decided to try a strategy reminiscent to last episode, the element of surprise. That 2-3 zone we deployed against Stanford. You're going to be seeing it again today just to show this team something you haven't seen us play on tape. And on top of that, we're going to be throwing Melvin Brewer in as the opener at shooting guard. I want him just in for just a couple possessions, and maybe he can pick up one of those scoop and score layups he's known for and provide some energy. Hendry will be checking in very quick though, don't you worry about that. And we're going to have number 9 against number 4. Charlotte is still undefeated in A10 play. We're looking to hand them their first loss of the conference slate. And here we go. The biggest regular season game in Coach Carter's career is about to get underway, and this place is already loud from the get-go. Here we go, and we're going to be watching our first couple possessions to take a look at Charlotte's defense, and so you can see just how crazy it is. And we're also going to watch our 2-3 zone as well. And here we go. Damian Carter top the key, bounce pass inside. Already some blown coverage on the layup. Bennett Pincala coming off a 20-point game, his career high, and he's not going to have an easier basket all year long. And now here's our 2-3 zone against this pretty elite shooting team. 43% from behind the line, and this season for the number 9 Charlotte 49ers actually came in to this season number 5, and we forced Daniel Fain into a pretty tough shot there. Perfect start for us on the defensive end, but later on, next possession, they would make their first 3 of the game. As Damian Carter, it's tipped away for a second. Hicks re-gets it, and Carter extra pass to Melvin Brewer for 3. This is why I wanted him as the opener. Melvin Brewer, he's just the Energizer Bunny on this team, man. And we feel the difference when he's out there. But Kirkland Evans from 3, the point guard for Charlotte. He's their top scorer, but he's playing injured with a foot injury, but he's still out there. But he can't cover Pat Park with a head of steam. Pat Park using the cross and dunking it down with 2 hands. That's what I'm talking about there. A lot of scoring in this game, however. Definitely a different taste than the Richmond game. As on the backdoor feed, it's Hendry for 2. Great find by Bennett Pincala. Hendry starting off this game a lot better than Richmond. 2 shots and 2 makes for him. Quick 5 points for Hendry. Back in this 2-3 zone, Kirkland Evans. And the give is over to Ned Yost, and it's taken away. Hendry, scoop and score for the shooting guard who's playing in his final season. 7 quick points for Hendry. And I don't know, man, maybe this is the rotation we need from these 2 guys. We bring in Brewer for the first 2-3 minutes as the opener, and Hendry picks it up from then on out, but he does blow the assignment there on Kirkland Evans, who makes the 3. And Damian Carter moving fast, though. What a bounce pass. And it is junior battle for 2 there. Man, Damian Carter, he just knows how to pick his spots, and he knows when to push the tempo. And this game is being played at a very fast pace as Kirkland Evans finds a teammate, Tony Borders, inside for a quick 2 points. Evans number 3 in the conference in assists per game behind Damian Carter. He's number 2, but he turns it over there as Carter with a rare mistake. And Michael Felix will kick it back out to Evans for his 3rd tray ball made of the first half. Timeout Coach Carter as the 49ers take the lead. 28-25 now as the inbound goes to Kai Hendry. A lot of scoring here in the early goings as he actually shares the floor with Melvin Brewer as Brewer knocks down yet another 3. It's been so impressive to see him shoot the ball the way he has as a freshman. His 3-point rating is not even that high. I believe it's in the mid-70s, but you couldn't tell by the way he shot the ball this year. But Charlotte continues to fire on all cylinders. The more they see our zone, the more they know how to combat it, it feels like, as they ended the first half shooting 6 of 12 from behind the line. Fain inside. It's Jarrett Roy. No good. Great defense there by Bennett Pincala, who had that 3-block game and simulating, and he picks up right where he left off, and it's a great fast break ran there by Fordham. Charlotte allows under 50 points a game, and they don't get that way by playing a fast pace. You have to be able to slow the game down to hold your opponents to such a low output every night. So this is what we're trying to do. We're trying to speed them up, and we do it again here off the missed free throw. Carter with assist number 5, and Brewer with 9 points. It seems like our 3 guards love playing with each other. I mean, Brewer, Carter, and Hendry just throwing assist after assist to each other tonight. Under 2 to play, and it's taken away. Tipped by Battle. And it's Melvin Brewer. Look at this again. No, it's not a replay. No, it's not deja vu. It's happening yet again. It's Brewer this time to Damian Carter. 40 up with 40 seconds to go here in the first half. What a first half this has been, man. This has been a ton of fun. But Melvin Brewer can't keep the trend going of point guards assisting to one another. And here's Nico Yost. Great defense by Pat Park, but wow. And I saw Nico Yost at the end of that play complaining for a foul, and I can't, blame him there. Pat Park draped all over him, but he still hits the mid-range. And that would be your score heading into the break, 42-40. The 2-3 zone, I think, was pretty good for the first 10 minutes, but then in the last 10 minutes, Charlotte started to figure it out. I do like how we're playing them at a faster pace than they normally play at, and even they're speeding themselves up on their offensive sets, as Hendry leads us with 11 off the bench, and Melvin Brewer leads us in second place with 9. So maybe this is how we got to use these 2 guys going forward. Melvin as the opener, and Kai Hendry as the guy to come in and clean up, as Damian Carter beginning the second half here early as they forget about him on the inbounds play. You see that zone, man. They had their eyes on the ball, not on the flashing Damian. And Fordham's back in the league as they draw first blood here in the second half. Fein, kick out. It's Michael Felix for 3. No good. As you might have noticed there, Fordham switching back up to a man-to-man. They're going to stay in it for the entirety of the second half. They saw the zone. Now let's go man and see how that treats them. As Kai Hendry nets it from 3. So Damian with a 3, Hendry with a 3, as the Rams have improved to 6 of 13 from behind the line this game. Ripping down another rebound, it's Lloyd Hicks. Long outlet pass to Pat Park. Just because we're not playing zone anymore doesn't mean we can't try to speed them up, but they do cover this break well, as Lloyd Hicks puts a shoulder into Tony Borders. The double comes, and he misses, but he finds it again. He lost it for a second, but it's up and in. And that is the one part of this Charlotte zone they've done their best at, limiting Lloyd Hicks, obviously with so many bodies inside on the defensive end. Hicks hasn't had much room to breathe, and he finds his second basket there. But there's a basket by Jarrett Roy as the offense continues to come in bunches. That's his first bucket of the game. And I mean, hey, man, number 5 versus number 9. I think this is about what we expected, as Charlotte's another basket away from yet another lead change in this game. But we got Lloyd Hicks a basket on last possession. We're going to go back to the well. Puts a shoulder into Jarrett Roy. Up fake. Turn around. Look at that finish. A reverse from underneath the rim. Draws the bump. Finishes through the contact. And Lloyd Hicks is starting to get things going. 53-49 game. Fordham on top. 10 minutes to go in the game. Kirkland Evans wide open from mid. It's been about the same scoring output from Charlotte before and after man-to-man. It's still a little too early to see which one will work better against these guys, as Damian turns it over. Michael Felix will miss the break. That's a great job by Nick Jallo and Bennett Pincala closing that one down. But Damian Carter still playing at this red-hot pace. Hendry, kick out. Nick Jallo just behind the three-point line. That goes in the book as a 3. I'm surprised he didn't have a big toe on the line, man. That's about as close as you can get. Nick Jallo, the former transfer, making that one go down. And Brewer, kick back out to Jallo. Look at this ball rotation, continuing to play as a team against this Charlotte zone. It's the biggest lead for the Rams today, and it sits at 8 with under 8 to play. Man, we've already beat what the Charlotte 49ers give up every game and then some. Under 50 points a night. Surrendered. We already got 63, and Melvin Brewer looks for more. Doubled on the block. Who's going to help him out? Nick Jallo from NBA range. That one's short. But how about Junior Battle with the hustle? His 3rd offensive board and his 2nd basket. Even Junior Battle making an impact. And I think he also responded really well to the zone. Junior Battle, he made some plays, had some deflections there in the zone. He's super athletic for a big man, so I think that will help him out playing some zone whenever he's on the floor. 6.5 left to go. As Charlotte is trying to look for answers here. It's Niall Vlasic for 3, as he was recruited out of Serbia, but he's busy celebrating. He leaves the red carpet out for Tariq Porter. Take a look at this replay. The 49er big celebrating to the crowd whenever they're still down by a couple baskets. A bad move there as the freshman finds a pass from his other freshman. Melvin Brewer heads up fine, and Porter windmills it down and in. The bench loving it. Tariq Porter puts his fingerprints all over this game with that emphatic jam, and the momentum really shifting towards Fordham. But Charlotte, you thought this would be easy here down the stretch? Nope, they're down by only 5 now, cutting our lead in half. And Felix back to Evans. Man, Evans has not looked like he's missed a step with that foot injury. 15 to lead the 49ers tonight, making 3/4 of his shots. But with us bringing the ball up quick, the 49ers get a little bit undisciplined here in their zone, and Melvin Brewer finds Damian, who then gives it over to Lloyd Hicks for a two-handed flush of his own. Man, these guards have just been picking apart this zone. And Lloyd Hicks making the rim rattle on that one, and this gym has gone quiet. Check out the Fordham bench, loving the dunk contest we're putting together here down the stretch. But again, the 49ers, man, these guys are just so stingy. Back down to a 3-point game as Tony Borders, the elite mid-range shooter, puts in points 7 and 8. And Charlotte, not fazed by those dunks. And they're right back in this game, and they're looking for the stop and the score to retake the lead. 3:40 left to go. Damian gets saucy on Kirkland Evans. Come on, you got to feel bad for Evans. He's playing with a foot injury. But Carter with the push cross back to the left, and the fillet with the right hand. That was beautiful. 2:48 left to go as we continue to trade baskets with the 49ers. It's taken away. Finally a stop. It's Melvin Brewer who puts a cross on his own, but the freshman makes a freshman mistake. He got himself into a really bad spot there. Vlasic tries to tie. No good, but Tony Borders may have got away with the over the back there, but he still puts it in. It's 12 for him. And now it's once again the danger zone for Fordham. Stopping the score. That's the name of the game here for the 49ers. Still sticking with this zone as Bennett Pincala hop step, skip past Melvin Brewer. Put up the pump fake, doesn't put it up. Hicks met with 2. He's normally the guy we go to at the end of games, but it looks like the message is clear. They want somebody else to beat us. Again, they bring 3 now, and it's Melvin Brewer from the corner. My voice cracked, but I don't care. I'm leaving that in the commentary. Oh my goodness, what a play. As Brewer steps up and delivers his biggest 3-point shot of his young career. And Lloyd Hicks, good job not being selfish there, making the smart play at the best time in the game. 80-76, and it's another steal. This time it's Pat Park playing the passing lane and floating up for a jam. Another timeout by the Niners. They're starting to feel the pressure. But of course, a 3-pointer is just what the doctor ordered, as the Niners not going anywhere just yet. Still a 4-point game. This game is not over. But this time, it is Lloyd Hicks. He's fighting through contact, and he drops in 2 more as he's up to 14, as 12 of those points have come in the second half. Now the Niners playing the foul game. 1-1 for Damian Carter. We've been well improved from the free throw line this season, and the coach's kid scores 15 on the night with that free throw and pushes it to a 2-possession game. 24 ticks left. Damian gets the friendly bounce in the second. And the team with the number 3 scoring defense in the country, they're on the ropes. Got to go quick here. Fain. He tried to find Kirkland Evans, and it's stolen by Melvin Brewer. As the Charlotte 49ers blow up here at the end of the game. Multiple turnovers when they were trying to get back in it. And Fordham holds on 90-88. That will be your final as Melvin Brewer puts this game on ice. And Damian Carter continues to arguably be the best player out on the floor in these big games. Super impressive again tonight. 18-7. He was the engine that really had this train going against this tough zone, as we scored over 40 points more tonight than what Charlotte lets up per game in this season. And how about Melvin Brewer and Kai Hendrick combining for 28 points, 3 assists and 3 steals to go along with 5 3-pointers made between the duo. And I think we might have found out just how we want to play these two going forward. And Tariq Porter, Nick Jallow, and Junior Battle all played lights out coming off the bench as well. They played huge minutes. All in all, this was a team win, only turning over the ball 3 times. I mean, you just look at so many stats. and everything was just perfect. This was one of the best games we played all Dynasty long. And overall, as a neutral watcher, I bet the fans of college basketball enjoyed this one too. And in case you're curious, the first half against the 2-3 zone, we tried to speed them up into quick shots and get out and run. And I think we played it well overall after not practicing it much. But I thought it was interesting that the 49ers got up 7 more shots in the second half, making 65% of them, by the way, and still took 10 threes against the man-to-man. So maybe it's a sign that the 2-3 is a viable tool that we can use moving forward when we're getting beat inside or facing a team that looks too comfortable against our man D. And overall, I think we found out a lot about this team moving forward and how to repeat in the long run. And why not one more win to cap off this episode? Duquesne goes down in a blowout as Damian tosses 10 assists to tie his career high, with the front court playing lights out, with Pinkala and Hicks combining for 29 points. Today, against Duquesne, I decided to let Kai Hendry be the opener and Brewer come off the bench, and they both played decent. I think the other way around is the way to go. And looking ahead to next episode, I plan on ending the regular season. We got 9 games to go, and I plan on showing 3 of them. The St. Louis game, because we struggled against the Billikens throughout Coach Carter's tenure here. We'll then simulate ahead to this UMass game as we host the Minutemen in their top 25 ranking. And we'll see if we can knock off both them and Charlotte and earn very important tiebreakers for the conference tournament. And finally, we gotta play our final senior day where Kai Hendry, Bennett Pinkala, and most likely Coach Carter will play in their final home game of their careers. So a trio of big-time games coming at you in the regular season episode finale of this series, as that awaits next time. Super excited to piece that together as Fordham continues to defend their national championship title, as the Rams end today at number 3 in the country, with Charlotte clocking in at number 7. Yeah, the Niners aren't going anywhere. Remember that tough stretch they had to play? Well, they bounced back and beat both UMass and St. Louis on the road. So if you had any doubt in the 49ers, there you go. And I'll wrap off this episode just talking strategy and talking about some of the things we've learned during today's games. I think we're on to something with Melvin Brewer being an opener for Kai Hendry. Something that people don't realize is you don't always want your best 5 players to open up the game. You want the 5 guys who can set the tone and let the guys off the bench play off that. And with Fordham potentially playing more zone defense, Brewer's a better fit to play it with his size and speed. And I also had Brewer out on the floor, and in case you didn't notice, I had him out on the floor at the end of the Charlotte game for defense. And that's another thing that we should keep in mind moving forward between these two. And what's also really impressed me is just how accepting Hendry's been of the role. It hasn't affected team chemistry at all. I mean, he's a 4-year starter, so honestly, he would be justified in feeling a little upset and having to come off the bench, but he played one of the best games of his season against Charlotte, and he also scored 24 off the bench in simulating today. So on all ends, it seems like it's a win for everyone. Brewer can use his electric play style to get us off on the right foot. Hendry can enter with fresh legs to help pack a scoring punch, and the team can continue to stack wins moving forward. I'm also curious on how the zone will work against St. Louis next episode. They're a super small team with speed and shooting, so packing it in the zone might not sound great on paper, but I do like the idea of ramping the tempo up no matter who our opponent is. I think we're at our best when we do that, and I also like the sound of completely neutralizing their offense in the paint and forcing them to live and die by the 3 thanks to their lack of height. Well, I hope you enjoyed my rambling, and I hope you enjoyed today's episode of the Legacy Mode series with Fordham. 9 games left, all coming in the next episode, so stay tuned for that, as Fordham tries to hold off UMass and Charlotte to clinch the regular season crown. Stay tuned for that and more. Take care, everyone.